All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are listening in from. My name is Gardner, and in our episode today, we are talking about responsibility. Yes, welcome to the Gardner Show. It's a morning call that we have on our WhatsApp group, and every Wednesday we meet to deconstruct some of the basic life principles and ideas that can make us perform better, do better, and also live the world better than how we found it. And one of the things that helps us to live the world better than how we found it is the ability to take up full responsibility. But before we dive into responsibility, it reminds me of the story that says in this on this planet we are around 8.0 billion people living as for today, and they tell us that there are two categories of people. You have the first category that wakes up to complain, to throw, to point fingers. They think everything around them is not about them, it's caused by somebody else. And the second category of people are those people that wake up and take full responsibility. They wake up to make things better. They wake up to solve problems. They wake up to live the world better than how they found it. Now, the question I have for you is, which category do you belong to? Are you that kind of person who wakes up complaining, blaming, or you're that kind of person who wakes up to take up full responsibility? And this is what we are going to discuss today in our morning call: how responsibility creates power. So, what is responsibility? When we go back to understand the word responsibility, it comes from a Latin word responder. Responder simply means to react consciously, to be aware, to take action. And this action and this reaction does not come from without, it comes from within. So the ability of you to be able to act and react and take action and be conscious of what is around you gives you the authority, or gives you the power to act in accordance to what you can. Therefore, responsibility is not all about blaming. As I said, you don't wake up to blame. It's not about pointing fingers, because every time you blame and point fingers, there's something you do. You take energy away from you and hand it over to somebody else, and hand it over to an event, and hand it over to a circumstance, and hand it over to whoever you are pointing fingers at or blaming. And many of us fall in this category. So we wait for somebody else to do the work, to take up responsibility. And yes, we know whenever you blame, you complain, you give away power. And every time you take on responsibilities, you act, you gain back power. Power to yourself to do what? To do better and live the world better. So there are challenges that we face on this journey as we take on responsibility. And some of the challenges we think are kind of more or less of misconceptions, because we tend to believe that actually we are taking up responsibility. And yet, this responsibility we are taking over is not coming from within, it's coming from externalities or external circumstances. The first one is fear. Every time you take up responsibility in fear, you are not taking back your power. You are giving away your power, because fear makes you to act not consciously, but to act out of reaction. And during that reaction, you're giving away power other than taking away or bringing power back to you. The second is authority. When you take responsibility based on authority, you are not actually being conscious or acting from within, because there is a power outside, which is authority, that is trying to check you. So you're not acting in accordance to what you think you should act in, or you're not acting in accordance on the things that you think are right based on you, but you're acting based on what you should act as prescribed by that authority. And that does not also give power back to you, it takes away power. And the third circumstance is every time you take up responsibility because you expect a reward. It's called the carrot and horse game. It simply means you're not acting in accordance to what you think is right from within, but you're acting in accordance to external circumstance because you expect a reward. And during that expectation, what are you doing? You're giving away your power because once the expectation or the reward does not come, you feel empty within. The emptiness comes from your expectations. What were you expecting before you took up responsibility? So, responsibility, we say, starts with self awareness, it starts with consciousness, to be informed, to be aware of thyself and the environment that you're in, to act in accordance to what you think, to act in accordance to what fulfills you, to act in accordance with what you think is perfect or is good for you, not from fear, not from authority, not from reward. Because once there is fear, authority, and reward, responsibility becomes a burden other than becoming a fulfillment. And somebody once said that responsibility is the test for greatness. If you look at the men and women that have become great, the men and the women took up responsibility. They said, enough is enough. Let us step forward. Let's stop complaining. Let's stop shouting. Let's stop pointing fingers. Think about this for a moment. You enter a room, a very dark room. There are people inside. But as you move through, you listen to them. They are complaining. They are shouting there is no light. They are asking themselves, how can we put on the light? They are confused. They are just inside there, complaining, pointing fingers. Until you move and move forward and ask where the switch is and put it on. That's where the light, oh, that's where power lies. Power lies in the ability for you to take full responsibility and switch on the light. It does not lie in complaining. It does not lie in blaming. It does not lie in waiting for somebody to come and do the work for you. Responsibility simply means you getting the power or having the power to switch on. What are some of the things you have failed to switch on? What are some of the things you are waiting for that person to do for you? What are some of the things that you get up each and every morning, you look at them, you're pissed about them, you're angry about them, but what do? Nothing. You keep complaining, you keep pointing fingers, you just keep on keeping on. So today we want to diffuse the responsibility. We want to understand what does it take for somebody to take full responsibility, because we say responsibility is the test of greatness. It's until you take up full responsibility from within, not from without, that you get fulfillment in life. What are some of the things that you have stood by and waited for somebody to do? And the question is, why aren't you taking up that responsibility and do that thing that you want people to do? So responsibility is more or less of you driving a car. You have the power. You are on the steering. But remember, in every car, let's use maybe it's a taxi or it's a public means of transport, we have people that enter. Those people want either the car to go very fast, they want the car to slow down, some want the car to stop, some want the car to have AC, some want the car to have music, some want, everybody, every passenger in that car has desires, has thoughts, has needs, has the things that they want. But those desires, things, and needs are just desires, things, and needs because they don't have responsibility over the car. They don't have power to control the car. Power lies in that one man who is still seated on the steering. Because whoever is seated on the steering has the power to direct the car where to go, has the power to either to stop the car, has the power to put on the AC, has the power to move very fast or move very slow. So whoever is sitting in the back No matter what they say, they will do nothing. It's until this one man who happens to be the driver decides. And we are saying we need to learn how to decide. And how do we learn how to decide? One, we need to understand, where does power lie? When you watch the movie Game of Thrones, they have um, uh, 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 an episode where they say that power lies where the small man casts it to be, casts the shadow. So it's in that shadow, it is in that perspective, in that idea, in that thinking, where that man puts it to be. If you put it to be in another person, that means you have given up your power. If you put it to be in the government, you've given up your power. If you put it to be in somebody who's in charge of you, you've given up your power. And yet they tell us power lies where you cast it to be. And today we are saying power should lie within you, because if you cast it within you and know you are the change, you are responsible to create the change that you need to change, gives back power to you. It gives back power. And once it gives back power, it gives you responsibility. So where is your power? Where do you cast it to be? The second thing is that change does not happen in abstract. Change is the constant. Whether you want it or not, there will and shall always be change. Now, change only happens when you are willing to change. Because we say change is the constant. It will happen. Yes, it will. But when you are not willing to change, then change will change you. So you are changing based on externalities. You are changing because of circumstances. You are changing because of the environment. You are not changing because you want to change. Power lies where the smallest mind casts it to be. So when you get the change from within, that means there will be change without. And the change that starts from within creates that change that is impactful from without. But when you let change from without change you, then you will act under authority, you will respond under reaction, you will respond because you need a reward or you need a benefit out of it. So that does not give you fulfillment. It gives you a burden because there is something you expect because you have done something. So we need to learn how to be the change we want to see and leave behind. Because once you are the change that you want to see and leave behind, then you change the change that is happening without. So the change that comes within is the change that creates impact. It's the change that gives you the power because you're acting from within than without. Finally, the third way we can have power based on taking up responsibility is the willingness to fail. We know in life failure is inevitable, but how you approach it, the mindset you use, determines how well you progress, determines how much power you get. We have three kinds of people every morning. We have the first kind of person is a person who gets up and fails and tells the whole community he has failed and forever shall it be. Even when he sees another person trying to do what he failed at, he will discourage them and tell them they cannot make it. I know you know those kinds of people, or maybe you're part of them. There's something you failed at, and today it has become your blueprint that you believe and you have convinced yourself that you failed at it. The second kind of person who gets up each and every morning is that person who fails. They try and fail, but they get up and move forward. That kind of person or those kinds of people will fail again, fail in the things they failed at because they failed, yes, they appreciated, and did one more effort, got up and moved forward. But the third category is the most dangerous. They are unstoppable. We call them life learners. They get up, try something, they fail. Before they get up, they look back, they learn, they understand, they're aware of what made them fail, and they'll get up and move forward. They are dangerous because when such a circumstance happens again, they know what made them fail. They analyze it, they understood it, they studied it, they learned it, they have known it. Now they're able to face it head on and move forward. Who are you? Are you one that has failed and refused to get up? Are you one that has failed and got up and did not learn and just moved forward? Or you're one who failed, learned, got up, and moved forward? That's power. That's how you get back power. That's how you take full responsibility because you know what made you fail. You've understood it. You've learned it. You've mastered it. Now you can navigate life as it comes based on the skills that you got. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll end by telling you and reminding you that power lies where you cast it to be. But the underscore, the blueprint for power is responsibility. And we say responsibility is not blaming, is not pointing fingers. Responsibility is about being conscious aware of your surrounding, being able to take up that challenge. It's being able to act in accordance to what is, not what is without. And once we put this together, then you are able to get up, move forward, take responsibility, but most importantly, take back your power. And once you have that power, you will live happy and fulfilled thereafter. Ladies and gentlemen, remember it's our Wednesday wake up call. It happens only on our WhatsApp groups. Please, if you want to be part of it, send a message. If this message has been impactful to you, feel free to comment, share, because that's how you help us grow and that's how you help another person to take up responsibility after knowing where power resides. My name is Gardner. See you in our next episode. See you on Wednesday. Stay blessed, stay safe. Let's go out and impact the world and make it a better place.